The Serapeum of Saqqara is a nightmare for modern mechanical engineers. Deep underground, inside a narrow tunnel system, sit 27 massive granite boxes. Each one weighs up to 100 tons. They are carved from solid rose granite, a stone so hard it requires diamond-tipped tools to cut efficiently today. Most people look at the size and assume it's a feat of strength. They are wrong. The real problem is the interior. If you take a precision machinist's square and place it against the inside corners of these boxes, the light doesn't leak through. The angles are a perfect 90 degrees. The surfaces are polished to a mirror finish that remains flat within a few microns across several meters. To achieve this today, we use computer-controlled grinding machines and laser interferometers. The dynastic Egyptians supposedly did this with copper chisels and sand. Copper is a soft metal. It cannot scratch granite. Sand can abrade it, but it cannot produce a 90-degree internal corner with mathematical perfection. You cannot sand a sharp interior corner into a 70-ton block of stone without rounding the edges. Yet these boxes exist. They sit in pits where the clearance between the box and the wall is barely enough for a human hand to fit. We have no record of how they were lowered, how they were carved, or why such extreme precision was necessary for what mainstream archaeology calls bull coffins. The Great Pyramid of Giza takes this precision and scales it to a planetary level. It is the most accurately aligned structure on Earth. It faces true north within 3/60ths of a degree. For context, the Greenwich Observatory in London is less accurate. The base of the pyramid is level to within 3/4 of an inch across 13 acres. This isn't just good for the Bronze Age. This is high-end surveying that requires knowledge of the Earth's circumference and rotation. The casing stones of the Great Pyramid are the smoking gun. Most are gone now, but the few that remain show a level of masonry that defies logic. These 15-ton limestone blocks were fitted together with a gap of only 1/50th of an inch. That is the thickness of a human fingernail. An adhesive was used to seal these gaps, and it is still stronger than the stone itself. We aren't looking at primitive labor. We are looking at an industrialized production line. You don't get 1/50th of an inch accuracy by hand-rubbing stones together for 40 years. You get it with high-speed cutting tools and standardized measurements. At the site of Abusir, the evidence for these tools is literally carved into the ground. There are core drill holes in solid granite and basalt that reveal a terrifying level of technical capability. When you look closely at the grooves left by the drill bits, the feed rate is impossible. In some instances, the drill is sinking into the granite 1/10 of an inch per revolution. Modern diamond-tipped drills cannot achieve this. A modern drill requires massive downward pressure to bite into granite at that speed, which would shatter any copper or bronze tool. The saw marks found on basalt slabs at the same site show the same anomaly. There are long, straight cuts in the stone that indicate a circular saw blade at least 6 to 10 feet in diameter was used. The marks are deep, consistent, and show no signs of the wobble you get with handsaws. These tools were moving through one of the hardest stones on Earth like it was soft pine. We are told these people used wooden sleds and hemp ropes. Hemp ropes cannot generate the torque required to drive a 10-foot saw blade through basalt. The Great Pyramid has just been scanned using cosmic ray muon radiography. This is a non-invasive technology that tracks subatomic particles as they pass through dense matter. The results from the Scan Pyramids project are undeniable. There is a massive empty chamber sitting directly above the Grand Gallery. It is at least 30 meters long. It is not a relieving chamber to protect the structure from weight. It is a deliberate, massive void that has no entrance or exit. Mainstream history says the Great Pyramid was a tomb built for Khufu over a 20-year period. The math doesn't work. To finish the pyramid in 20 years, the workers had to quarry, cut, transport, and perfectly set one multi-ton block every 2 to 3 minutes, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. That includes the time needed to align the internal shafts to specific star systems like Orion and Sirius. If you miss one block, the entire geometric progression of the structure fails. This wasn't a funeral project, it was a machine. The timeline itself is starting to fracture. Traditional Egyptology relies on a king list to date these structures. It places the Old Kingdom around 2500 BCE, Carbon dating tells a different story. In the 1980s and 90s, the David H. Koch Pyramid's radiocarbon project tested organic material found in the mortar of the Great Pyramid. The results consistently came back 200 to 400 years older than the pharaoh Khufu. This suggests the pyramid was already standing, or at least under construction, long before the man it was allegedly built for was even born. The Sphinx shows signs of extreme precipitation-induced weathering. Geologists like Robert Schoch have pointed out that the vertical erosion patterns on the Sphinx and its enclosure walls are caused by heavy, cascading rainfall. The Giza Plateau hasn't seen that kind of sustained, torrential rain since the end of the last ice age, roughly 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. This pushes the origin of the site back to a time when humans were supposed to be hunter-gatherers living in huts. Hunter-gatherers do not carve 200-ton limestone blocks to build temples. In the unfinished obelisk at Aswan, we see the limit of the official explanation. It is a 1,200-ton piece of granite still attached to the bedrock. The official story is that workers used diorite pounding stones to chip away at the granite. If you look at the trench around the obelisk, the marks don't look like impacts. They look like scoop marks. It looks like a giant backhoe or a chemical solvent was used to simply remove the stone. Using pounding stones would take centuries, and the workers would have died from silicosis within months from the dust. The granite blocks in the King's Chamber are another engineering impossibility. These 50-ton blocks were lifted 175 feet into the air and placed with such precision that you cannot slide a credit card between them. There is no ramp system that could support that weight at that height without collapsing under its own mass. A ramp long enough to maintain a manageable grade would require more material than the pyramid itself. There is a clear technological degradation in Egypt. The oldest structures, the Great Pyramid, the Serapeum, the Valley Temple, are the most sophisticated. They use the largest stones and the highest precision. As you move forward in time to the later dynasties, the quality of construction drops significantly. The pyramids become smaller, the stones are rubble-filled, and the precision disappears. If these were the same people developing their skills over time, the later pyramids should be better. Instead, they are crude imitations of a technology that was already lost. The inventory stela found at Giza claims that Khufu didn't build the pyramid, but merely repaired it. He also allegedly found the Sphinx already buried in sand. Egyptologists dismiss this stela as a later forgery because it contradicts their timeline. They choose the timeline over the physical evidence. We find tubular drill cores at Karnak, where the drill has cut through both the granite and a piece of quartz embedded within it. The drill didn't deflect, it didn't crack the quartz. It cut through two materials of different hardness as if they were a single uniform substance. This requires a tool spinning at high RPM with a constant, controlled feed rate. The granite box in the King's Chamber shows evidence of a massive saw. There are overcuts on the floor of the box where the blade went too deep before being corrected. These overcuts are straight and parallel. This is a mistake made by a machine, not a hand tool. If you are using a hand saw, you feel the resistance and stop. Only a powered blade under high pressure continues through a mistake. The Great Pyramid is not four-sided, it is eight-sided. Each of the four faces is slightly concave, a feature only visible from the air during the equinox. This concavity is so precise it requires an understanding of spherical trigonometry. It serves no structural purpose for a tomb. It is a refinement that only makes sense if the building was designed to interact with light or frequency. The subterranean chamber of the Great Pyramid is carved directly into the bedrock. It looks unfinished, with jagged floors and strange fins of rock. However, the ceiling is perfectly flat. If you were just digging a pit for a body, you wouldn't spend the effort to make a ceiling perfectly level while leaving the floor a mess. This chamber looks like an acoustic or hydraulic component that was meant to be rough for a functional reason. The sheer volume of granite moved from Aswan to Giza is staggering. We are talking about 8,000 tons of granite transported 500 miles. Moving one of these blocks today requires specialized multi-axle trailers and hydraulic lifts. The Egyptians supposedly did it on wooden barges during a flood. We are looking at a puzzle where the pieces don't fit the box they were sold in. The precision of the Serapeum, the speed of the Abusir drills, and the muon-detected voids all point to a civilization that possessed a form of high technology. It wasn't our technology, but it was effective. They weren't using copper and string. They were using the laws of physics in a way we are only beginning to rediscover. The more we scan and the more we measure, the less the official story holds up. Egypt is not a cemetery of a primitive people. It is the wreckage of a sophisticated one.